Welcome. So today I have a shortcut to share with you. I think it's well, I won't say it's the ultimate shortcut because I don't know for sure the ultimate shortcut, but I'll say it's a shortcut. It's a significant shortcut. What do I mean by a shortcut? So what we want, I believe, and if you disagree, then you're free to disagree, of course. So don't think that just because I say this has to be true. But I believe what we want is wholeness. Now, wholeness maybe is a term that is overused. So it's kind of loaded, like saying God or spirit or any of these words. So no matter what word we use, it's got baggage, or we've got baggage with it. So let's just set aside the baggage for a minute. And just together, we can just really get clear on what we really want. Actually, I think it's a great thing, really, just a great thing to just take a moment, maybe every day, just take a moment to get clarity on what we really want, because otherwise we're going to be engaged in a lot of activity trying to get something or get rid of something without clarity on what we really want. So if we just pause, and really we can do this any time, no matter what is going on, no matter what we're doing. I'm going to mute everybody here just so that we don't get those other sounds. So we can pause, whether we're sitting quietly or we're engaged in a conversation. Could be walking, driving, could be eating, could be doing anything. And we can just pause and get clear on what do we really want. So then all of these things might start surfacing. Oh, maybe I want this, maybe I want that. So on the surface, there's all these things we think we want. And some of those are easier to recognize that we don't really want those things. So for example, we could say, I like this one. I want $1 million. I've been using that one a lot. Okay, I want $1 million. I think I want $1 million, and that one seems like maybe, okay, I want $1 million, but we kind of realize I don't necessarily really want $1 million. That one's not too hard to see through, unless it is. So if it is, then an easy way to see through it is just to look at it this way. So let's say I say, okay, you want $1 million. Awesome. I'll give you $1 million. No problem. Only one caveat. You can't spend it. So then, do you really want $1 million? No, you don't want $1 million. $1 million is worthless if you can't spend it. So this superficial desire for $1 million is pretty easy to see through. If I say I can give you $1 million, no problem, but you can't spend it. Oh, okay, I don't actually want $1 million. Well, what do you want? Well, then whatever becomes clear then. If you could have $1 million but you couldn't spend it, then it's not the $1 million that you want. It's whatever is behind that, or before that, or however you conceive of it. So maybe you say, well, I want food to eat. Okay. No problem. I'll give you food. Only one caveat, you can't eat it. So then you realize, okay, well, I mean, yes, we all need food, sure. But the idea of that's what I want, we see, okay, that's not actually it. What is it I want? Oh, well, maybe we have to dig a little deeper now. What do I want? If I'm not going to be satisfied with these superficial ideas of what I think I want, I have to look a little closer. What is it that I really want? So, like I said, $1 million maybe is kind of easier to see through. So then we could say, take another example. Okay, so I want boyfriend, girlfriend, lover, husband, wife, best friend, partner. And if you really are feeling this sense of loneliness, then that can seem really important. Very, very important. I think I said this before, until you get that person. And then I wish they would leave me alone. They're ruining my life. So the superficial appearance of the superficial desire, we can be deceived by it, but if we just take a look, we can see, okay, that's not really what I want. So what do I really want? So I propose we want wholeness. But again, we all have baggage with that word. I don't know any word. I mean, they've all been used at this point. What word are we going to use that hasn't been used? I could invent a word, but then tomorrow that word will have baggage. So rather than trying to get the perfect word that doesn't have baggage, let's just realize it is not about the word anyway. The word isn't the thing. God isn't God. God isn't the word God. Spirit isn't the word spirit. Wholeness is not the word wholeness. You are not the word you. So what do we really want? I'm saying wholeness, but what is that? Let's take a look now at what that's really pointing to. Then maybe we can see that all of the whatever thoughts come up, those thoughts they just can't get it. Is it this? Is it that? Will I get it today? Will I get it tomorrow? What if I do this? What if I'm really good? There's no thought that can get it. The thoughts cannot get it. So then what? If the thoughts can't get it, see the next thought that can come is, oh, then it's not achievable. This is stupid. Get really angry, frustrated. Why doesn't he just tell me the answer? But the thing is, we have this desire. So this is true. We know this is true. This is actually happening. It's just that our attention has been on superficial things. And when our attention is on these superficial things, and then we get disillusioned by the superficial things, then we can come to this point where we say, oh, well, then it's empty, nothing, pointless, stupid, whatever, hopeless. It's like that character in the Matrix who just put me back in and just make my life in the Matrix fabulous. Because we get to that point of disillusionment, and then we think, yeah, there's nothing. There's nothing. There's no point. It's just all illusion. So just give me a better illusion. Because we're afraid. We're afraid to actually take the leap. But the thing is, like I've pointed out, there is something true. And it's very intimate, and we can't get rid of it. There's no possibility of getting rid of it. No matter what we do, no matter where we go, it's here. And it manifests as this desire. It's just that we misunderstand the desire. We mistake the actual desire, the real desire, for the thoughts about it, the ideas about it. So the desire is real. We can experience it. And if this is not true for you, like I say, you don't have to believe me. But I would be very interested to know if you actually don't experience desire, if you can actually tell me that there is no desire whatsoever, and that there's just total emptiness. Because I experience desire. And the desire, there's just the pure desire. And then there's all of the ideas about it that are differentiated. I want $1 million. I want a better lover. I want a better body. I want better this. I want whatever. Thinking somehow that those things will deliver to me what it is that I really want. So then this is the shortcut. So what I've noticed is that this desire can be known or experienced through feeling. So if I say, how do you know that you have a desire? Or how do you know that you exist? It's another way to look at it, right? So then say, how do you know you exist? And somebody, again, if they're just fixated by this superficial veneer, then they can get caught up in nihilistic philosophy. And then they say, oh, well, I don't exist. I've thought it all through and realized I don't exist. Which to me is a denial of the perfectly obvious reality, which is I do exist. The question isn't whether or not I exist. The question is, what is it? So so again, what I'm proposing is that we do exist. This existence we can call this existence whatever we want. So don't get hung up on the word, but we can call it desire. We can call it being. We can call it energy. We can call it whatever. But we know somehow that this is so. And what I'm proposing for you to check out and see is that we know this because of feeling, not a feeling. We know this because of feeling. So how do you know that you exist? Well, it's not because of thoughts. Descartes said, I think, therefore I am. But try this for a second. Don't think. And I don't mean like try to get rid of thinking. I mean, just notice that actually like that, there's no thinking, just for a split second. don't you still exist? So we don't need thought to exist. Thought is happening like anything else, like color or sound or shape or any sensation, any experience. It's happening. But our existence is primary. And I'm proposing that we know this through feeling. So when we feel most of the time, and you don't have to agree with me, I'm just suggesting this as something to check out and see. But see if this is true. When you feel, most of the time, you're thinking about your feeling. And if that's not clear, then let's take a look. So what do I mean by that? So if I say, are you feeling? You would probably say yes. Maybe you would say no. Be an interesting thing to check out. But you would probably say yes. And then if we were to explore that, most likely, because I've had a lot of conversations with people about this, you would tell me, well, it's a good feeling or it's a bad feeling. I like this feeling. I don't like this feeling. This feeling is called happiness. This feeling is called sadness. This feeling is called anger. This feeling is called pain. This feeling is whatever. And this feeling is caused by whatever the story is about it. So I'm feeling pain. I'm feeling emotional pain. It's because this person rejected me. I'm feeling physical pain. It's because this person hit me. I'm feeling happy because somebody gave me $1 million and told me that I can spend it. So what I've observed in myself and just through conversations with other people is it seems to be very common that we think about feeling and our attention tends to get stuck in this superficial layer of thinking about feeling. Then we're trying to solve the problems. We say, well, I'm sad. I don't want to feel sad. So why am I feeling sad? Oh, I'm feeling sad because of this. Okay, now I'm going to solve that. Or I'm feeling happy. This is good, but uh-oh. Might not always feel happy. So what am I going to do about that? So we're thinking. And meanwhile, what I've found for myself, and I am proposing this to you to check out, and check it out now. What I believe that we're overlooking, and this is the shortcut. It's taken me a long time to get to the shortcut, but the shortcut is that feeling is what we already want. So how can we find this out? How can we actually test this to see if this is true? Well, first, we have to be willing to feel without so much thinking about it. So how do we do that? Well, there are a lot of ways. I've been thinking about this. I've been thinking about it, and I've come up with some different ways. Okay, so one way, and some of you know that I've been doing this workshop series on the mythical self, which is about story. So I've been thinking about different stories and how they give us different ways, different suggestions of things to check out for how to access pure feeling. So in this mythical journey, the shift from the beginning to the middle, there's a threshold. And so the threshold is the threshold of the known and the unknown. So the known is all mind, thought. And I'm saying, without turning that into the enemy, that's all fine. But it's just that when our attention is stuck there and we're just thinking about feeling, we're missing the 99.9%. So this threshold, when we cross the threshold, we cross from the known to the unknown. So the unknown is life happening as it is without our attention stuck with all the thinking about it. So these stories give us all kinds of ideas about how do we access pure feeling. What are these different thresholds, different ways of crossing the threshold? So one, Alice in Wonderland. Okay, Alice, you may recall, she's dozing on a summer day, which is on a picnic. And suddenly this white rabbit comes by with a pocket watch. He's late. And she's very curious about this. So she goes chasing the white rabbit. And the white rabbit goes down a rabbit hole. No big surprise. And she goes down the rabbit hole. Well, so what happens when she goes down the rabbit hole? Well, she falls. So check it out right now. Be like Alice, and you're falling down the rabbit hole. And as Alice is falling down the rabbit hole, all these other things are falling down the rabbit hole too. I love this metaphor personally. I love it because for me, it's very powerful. So falling down the rabbit hole, all these other things falling down the rabbit hole. Now, here we are falling. And these other things are falling too. So there's a table and chair falling. You might grab hold of the chair and the table and try to sit on the chair and pull yourself up to the table. Try to get a little bit of familiarity, sense of I'm on something. But then just take a look. Oh yeah, chair and table's falling too. So this is like us grasping at our thoughts and our ideas for security. Like that's going to stop us from falling. But just fall, because that's what's happening. You're just falling down the rabbit hole. So this is one way. This is one way to access pure feeling. So if it's not clear what I mean, and we'll also explore some other ways, but just to elaborate on this, whatever you try to grasp to tell you what this is, what it means, what you can do about it, how you can protect yourself, how you're going to fix it, won't work, because all that stuff is falling too. There's just falling. You're just falling down the rabbit hole. There's absolutely no hope of doing anything about it. Try as you might. And if you look, you might see that this has been true always. You just were so busy trying to grasp something to make yourself feel better that you were overlooking it, but the reality is falling. So the next one that I came up with is Dorothy in the Wizard of Oz. She's in the tornado. She's been picked up by the tornado. So you can imagine and sense yourself now in this tornado and everything's swirling around. Sometimes it seems like that, right? Sometimes it just seems like everything's swirling around. So sometimes it feels like you're falling. Sometimes it seems like everything's swirling around. So when everything's swirling around, what are you going to do? You're in the tornado. Well, same kind of thing. You're going to try to grasp something else that's swirling around in the tornado. Good luck. But I think we've all been here. I mean, I know I have, in the tornado, swirling around. I'm like, there's got to be something here, something that I can do something with that's going to help me. But nothing can help me because I'm in the tornado. So there's just the spinning. Just this uncontrollable force. So what if for a moment we just don't do anything? Don't try to do anything. Because isn't it just true that there's nothing that we can do when we're in the tornado? And importantly, whether we're falling down the rabbit hole or we're in the tornado, there's these subtler and subtler layers of trying to hold it together, protect, grasp at something. And if this isn't something that just blows your mind, then I'm suggesting there's still some subtle way in which you're grasping or trying to protect. So just be willing to let that go too. It's just, to me, it's just telling the truth. There is this power, this force, this energy that's far greater than my idea of myself. I don't have any ability to protect myself as I imagine myself to be from this. It's just falling, just spinning. That's what's happening. So another story, another example that came to mind was Orpheus. So Orpheus is going into the underworld to rescue his wife who has died. And Orpheus plays a, what is it called? A lyre, I think is what it's called. It's a stringed instrument. And he makes the most beautiful music. And so I believe when he gets to the gates of the underworld, he's met by whatever the thing is called, Cerberus, I think. It's the hound of hell, gatekeeper. And he plays the music that calms this beast. So here's another way, which is when we have this, it's like this rage, this fiery rage. I've got to do something, this urgency. Then we can just tune into this music that soothes it. We can just allow ourselves to be not, it's not that it's, but it's not, it doesn't extinguish the fire. Fire is still here. It just smooths it out. So in any of these examples, it's like, as long as we, you know, and so in this last example, if I'm trying to get my hands on the hound of hell, it's going to bite me. If I'm Dorothy trying to do something in the tornado, I'm going to be ripped apart. So the shortcut to pure feeling is just, like I sometimes say, like, take your hands off the steering wheel. Don't take your hands off the steering wheel, though, if you're driving. In case that was coming across as a hypnotic suggestion or something. So what does this, to me, this is so powerful, because this is instantaneous access to wholeness, but not just in a, well, in a very whole way. It's not conceptual. It's not that we've just conceptually taken apart the idea of being a separate thing. We haven't just taken some intellectual journey. We're actually unified in our experience with wholeness, as wholeness. So we can actually, it just actually invites us. We're falling down the rabbit hole, actually invites us just completely let go. And if we completely let go, then we're not grasping for thoughts about it. We're not referencing the past. We're not referencing our conditioning. I mean, it's like what people talk about, being in the now. Absolutely, completely in the now. No past, no future, no separation. It's just falling, just this pure feeling, just this. So why is this so powerful? I mean, to me, because we're, I believe, always feeling. And because we're so conditioned, I believe, to be thinking about the feeling and trying to solve the problem that we imagine the feeling is, then we are actually reinforcing what it is that we don't want. We're reinforcing the limitations, reinforcing the sense of separation, reinforcing the problem. But my experience is that the pure feeling, when we just access the pure feeling, it dissolves all of that. It dissolves all of the seeming boundaries and limitations. And it just opens us to wholeness, which is what we want. So if I say, for example, I feel frustrated. And I have a story about frustration. I don't like it. Frustration is bad, causes problems. Then I'm trying to fix this problem. I don't want to be frustrated. Well, why am I frustrated? What am I going to do about it? But the amazing thing is, right now, whatever it is that I think I'm feeling, whatever you think you're feeling, let's just test it out. Let's see what happens right now. Whatever you think, whatever you think this present feeling is. If you like the feeling, you don't like the feeling, you think it's a good feeling, bad feeling, neutral feeling, bored feeling, frustrated feeling, happy feeling, whatever you think about it, just check it out. See if I'm right about this. See if I'm right that this feeling is actually the portal to what it is that you truly want. And that it is available like that instantly. So what I've noticed is when we think about feeling, we tend to, as I say, take action that reinforces what we don't want. So we can see how this is so if we're just observant. I think. Check it out. Because then say, oh, I feel bad. I'm not gonna do something. I feel angry. Oh, I'm gonna do this. So we take action that reinforces. And ultimately, it's reinforcing a sense of separation and a sense of victimization. Because the feelings come on willy-nilly, seemingly. You just say, oh, I woke up in a bad mood. Woke up on the wrong side of the bed. So if waking up on the wrong side of the bed means that I then have to take certain actions or not take certain actions, then I'm a victim of that feeling. But instead, what I'm proposing is that that feeling, if we take that off of it, so it's not that feeling, but just feeling, whatever my story about it might be, the story is actually like the gatekeeper. And all we have to do actually is just step over that threshold. So the gatekeeper says, no, you shall not pass. I'm trying to remember now. In Monty Python and the Holy Grail, the quest for the Holy Grail, there's the knight at the bridge. He's not going to let them pass. It's sort of like that. If you don't remember, it's like, they cut off his arms. He's blood spurting out. I'm not going to let you pass. He still thinks he's going to, they cut off one of his legs. He says, no. So, but the thing is, we fall for it. So there's this gatekeeper. You slice off the arm. And so, you haven't bested me yet. I'm not going to let you pass. And we think, oh God, no, okay, I won't. But actually, all you have to do is just step over it. Like, how do you step in? How do you fall down the rabbit hole? You just do. Just step over it. So the story is the gatekeeper. It says, none shall pass. And we fall for it over and over and over and over and over. But just check it out. Just step over. Isn't it really just that easy? Just step over. And so then we step over, and then we're falling, we're spinning, we're whatever it is that however we experience it. We can then check it out in our direct experience. And see, isn't it true that presently, whatever your thoughts and opinions about what this is, isn't your actual experience unbounded? No beginning, no end, no up, no down, no inside, no outside. It's wholeness. And then from this, what will prevent or dictate any action? Other than you. See what I mean? Like you just get to choose. The feeling cannot victimize you, because the feeling is actually wholeness. The feeling is actually what it is, your power. Say your power, or take the word your off, because it's not like you get to, it's not your power in the sense that you possess it, but it is your power in the sense that it is that which powers you. It empowers you to choose. What do you want? So then, to me, this, I've said, this is just so, this is the ultimate power, not the power over anything, but it is the ultimate power. Feeling is the ultimate power. It is wholeness, unbounded, empowering everything, everyone. And I believe, misuse that power when we get locked in these battles with the gatekeeper, battling with the story about it, the idea about it, the meaning that we think it has, which is only coming from our past conditioning. And what, in my experience, that just, it is blinding or a distraction from what do I really want. If I am clear on what I really want, then this feeling empowers that. It empowers what I really want. I really want wholeness. I want that, and I want it manifest in my life. And I have clarity on that. I think we all do. We know how that, we have clarity on how that manifests as patience, compassion, boldness, tenderness, courage. So then according to me, we can just start to tell the truth, which is, I am not a victim. I am not being victimized. Feeling doesn't have the power to victimize me. I do. I get to choose. That power does not choose. The power is power. It's like electricity. Electricity could burn down your house, or electricity could light a light bulb. You get to choose. So the power is, according to me, my experience, is the power, the pure feeling. Pure feeling is that power. It is wholeness manifesting. But it doesn't have a, it doesn't differentiate. We do. We choose. And up until now, most of us, I think, have chosen to unwittingly misuse that power to battle with ourselves, to battle with the power, just to, over and over and over. But now, hopefully, we'll see what you have to say about this. I mean, maybe you think I'm crazy, but if I'm right, now we recognize that we recognize that power, and we take responsibility to be responsive, to what? To the calling of our own soul. for the expression of our authentic desire. So we can now recognize that feeling, whatever feeling is occurring, however it is expressing, it is that power. And we can either harness it, or we can, and to harness it, I mean to embody it, or we can fight with it and pretend like we're victims. There's a lot of support for that. It's like, this is sort of the status quo. But it doesn't feel good. See what I did there? Doesn't feel good. All right. So you tell me now, and you can say whatever you want to say, but I'm curious to know specifically what your experience has been of this exploration. Oh, and usual caveat, this is going to be up on YouTube. So if you don't want to be on YouTube, don't speak. But I always appreciate when you do. It's helpful. It's helpful for me, helpful for others. Get feedback from people. They really appreciate your sharing. So.
Hello, Joey.
Hey. Yep.
Hi. Thanks for this morning for going through these things that you've thought through. Obviously, you've thought it through very well. Well, what I wanted to say actually was yeah, I don't really mind being on YouTube. It's okay. We're all on YouTube nowadays, whether you know it or not.
Yeah.
So anyway, every now and then I have an experience that's very vivid, and so it's really about this fun that we're having to unravel this mystery, because life is a mystery, and it's really beautiful because it's so ambiguous, and that's what I cherish about it so much, or I want to figure out this need to understand the ambiguity of our experiences. So when you're feeling an emotion and you're trying to express it in a thought, it's actually difficult. And so, you know, as you get older or through your experiences, you get better at describing these ambiguous emotions. And so you try to like fit it into like a story. And so stories are really great. And they're also very powerful, so powerful that you actually believe that they're true. Mm-hmm. And so maybe they are true. Maybe your life, maybe your story is true. So that becomes an interesting question that we all usually ask ourselves. And so when you take that pause that you're speaking of, then you realize that you don't really know, and but you do know that you exist, and so Um, Yesterday, uh, uh, at around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, uh, uh, I couldn't really understand the emotion I was feeling. I felt kind of like uh, um, confused, and I'm like, all right, let's go along with it. Let's see what this confusion is revealing. The revelation of the confusion. uh, Sort of like Confucius, the Chinese teacher. He's named after confusion. He's revealing something, a moral of the story. Um, and so I felt this great energy coming out of me, the physical energy of being. And at the same time, I felt this allowing for this story to unravel. Like, let's see what this story is got in store for me, because there's infinite way to interpret the unmanifested, which had already manifested itself in your life.
Mm-hmm.
The last 30, 40 years, your life unraveled so many different truths. And so you're noticing how desire is sort of like becomes your enemy. And you're like, why? Why would desire become my enemy? Is it betraying me? So then you have to take a pause again, because this is a very interesting point, and it has so much brilliance, and it shines to you that it really is your friend. That desire it really is your friend. And um, uh, so I had a bunch of friends growing up when I was a teenager. You know, at first school was important. Then actually I said, oh, I want friends, because that companionship is so meaningful. And then I had to leave those friends behind. Um, that's why I kind of I can relate to Jay's situation. Jay's here. I listened to his story. Jay talked about going to Canada and leaving everything behind to make new friends. And I found myself in the same situation, Jay. When I moved upstate, I had to say goodbye to all my friends, even though they were probably like 2 hours away. And over time, that 2 hours becomes 20 hours away. And the next thing you know, you're not going back. And you kind of had to leave that behind. And so your story becomes, did I betray my friends by leaving them behind in their chaos? And so it's true. When I went back, there was chaos. All my friends were in chaos. Like, oh, wow. They're disintegrating faster than me. I'm here disintegrating. They're disintegrating. What happened? Oh, geez, we're gonna have to take a little break and try to figure it out. So then there's the figuring it out, the books, the therapists, the journey through knowledge, sorting through knowledge, and so I read a great deal of history, and there's a lot of horror. There's a lot of like war. Usually history is all about war, and so I kind of thought about like how in history they never document like all the happiness that actually occurred. Like, oh yeah, there was peace and glory in for in in different nations. I mean, that's just not, it's not written. It's not controversial. There's no conflict, and so therefore there's just it doesn't seem like it ever existed. And so the moral of the story always seems like there was a great deal of travesty. So within this whirlwind that I was experiencing, I just I liked it. I wanted it to dance. I wanted it to be free, and there was freedom, and that was the greatest thing, was the freedom. Like it's okay to feel things. It's okay to think things. You don't have to get rid of it. You want those things in your life, and what better guide can you have in your life than is to feel an emotion with somebody, or even by yourself, and so it leads you, you know, every now and then it leads you to a moment of being vulnerable and innocent.
Yeah, that's what I've been suggesting. And I'm also suggesting that we can actually choose that. We can choose that anytime we want, because that's my experience. That is available. That we can choose right now, always right now, regardless of what's going on. And sometimes it seems more challenging than other times, but we really, I believe, can choose this as it is. Just choose this without having to consult the past, because all of the thoughts are based on the past. So it's not to get rid of the thoughts are happening, but just to recognize that those thoughts about, well, that say that they're about now, they're going to tell me about what this feeling is, what it means, whether I like it or don't like it, what I need to do about it, are all based on the past. So do I want to just recreate the past, or do I want to live this freedom now? And to live this freedom now is to choose that innocence and that vulnerability, because it's to choose, it really is to choose that. I mean, who other than Alice would go down the rabbit hole? There's an innocence there. It's like, I guess I'm going down the rabbit hole, because this hasn't had this experience, or at least is not referring back to some experience of having had a bad experience going down the rabbit hole. Oh, you shouldn't go down the rabbit hole. Don't you know what you're going to get into down there? So instead, we choose that innocence that I don't know. I really don't know. And what I do know, or what I think I know, isn't all that interesting to me. It doesn't actually appeal to me, because it's just like you said, it's that story of war, should and shouldn't. And that's what I'm saying is not actually in alignment with what we really want. It has a function. It's fine. It's not like that's bad either. All of that it's a function of separating. And it's that function is fine. We have to separate things. You separate the wheat from the chaff. Why? Because it's functional. You want to eat the wheat, not the chaff. Unless you have celiac, or you're gluten free, then you don't want to eat the wheat. But you do this function of separation. The function of war is functional, but we don't want to dwell on that. We don't want to, who wants to just sit around and just go over all the battles forever and ever and ever. List off all the names of everybody who killed somebody else and how many they killed. It's not that interesting. But that's what we find ourselves in, is we're in this moment. Here we are. It's fresh. It's new. It's innocent. And we don't know. There's no ground to stand on. And then there we are. We find ourselves, oh, there's a history book falling down the rabbit hole. Okay, I'm going to open it up. Oh, yeah. Now I know. Now I know because I'm reading. But I'm just saying, okay, let that go for a moment now. And then we get to experience the freshness and the aliveness of this as it is. And then we get to actually choose freely rather than to be bound by what has been. Because what has been is what has been. But we want something new. We don't want to just repeat that over and over and over. We know that wouldn't be satisfying, because if we just keep doing that, even though that war has its function, we don't want more of that. We know that. We know that we don't want to just keep recreating that, because that is from the past. We've already done that. We want something new. Something new has to be chosen now. And the way to choose that is to choose now. I'm so convinced of it. It's just so obvious to me. So thank you for your sharing. And I've got to go in 2 minutes because I have something scheduled.
Okay, great. Thank you for letting me speak.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
Yeah. Thank
you. Can I still go, or we're done for today?
You can go.
I was going to ask you, Joy, for the first time I've had feelings with a person, and it all went well. The first date was just the best day of my life. And after that, the person, they were like, oh, I'm overwhelmed. I don't want to do this anymore. And then I've never, this is the first time I've experienced, like, people experience this much, like when they're 14 or 15, but this is the first time experiencing something like it. And because we had this true connection going on and everything, I felt like I just lost everything. And I felt like I had to hold on to this somehow. I was like, maybe I have to, talk things through, so that I want this feeling. I want this. Like, I just don't want to let go. It was like that for like a week. I was feeling pretty depressed, pretty anxious about it, like high heart rate, but I let go. I was with that feeling, and I didn't text, I didn't message, I didn't do anything. I was like, it's been a couple of weeks, and they still want to be my friends and want to hang out, but I don't know, like, it's been pretty intense. But I remember you said right people, always talk about right people. And I just don't have to see, I just don't envision that happening right now at this moment. I feel completely like heartbroken. I felt isolated yesterday, and for the first time, I was sitting at McDonald's and suicidal thoughts felt real. I was like, I have no meaning for my life right now. I don't see anyone actually feeling sad if I do die. Like, if I do die, doesn't seem like, doesn't matter. Like, even if I'm alive, nothing's actually.
It matters to you. That's the thing, is it matters to you. That's what I think you can trust.
Can you repeat that again? We were broken down.
It matters to you, and that's what you can trust. The thought that says that it doesn't matter is a lie. That's what I'm saying. You know that's not true because you're heartbroken. Why are you heartbroken? Because you know that you matter to you. And that's what this is offering. That's the gift of Heartbreak, is that it offers to you the opportunity to discover that you matter to you. I mean, it's cliche, but it's true that you have to love yourself first. And you do love yourself, but you don't, up to now, you haven't given yourself permission to actually really honor that. Because there's so many things that you say that you think, oh, this is wrong with me, and 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 you got this whole long list of all the things you think is wrong with you. But this is exactly what I was sharing today. Is so this feeling is here, and this feeling is revealing to you this power, and this power, we can do battle with the gatekeeper. The gatekeeper is the thing that says, you're a piece of shit, doesn't matter, nobody cares. That's the gatekeeper. And I'm saying, don't be fooled, step over the threshold. What's past the threshold? You find it. But I can tell you for sure, I know what's there. It's love. And it is love that you have for yourself. You test it out.
I did let go, and I mean, I've been letting go. That's how I recover from my obsessive thinking. I kind of use the same thing for everything, and what I saw was just this unworthiness. I was just running away. I was just like, this shouldn't happen. I need to have friends, otherwise, like the feeling right now, like people say that because you're lonely, you feel this. If you're not, you'll be safe, right? That's the solution. At no point you shouldn't be feeling this at all. This is completely unacceptable. Run away. That's what I've seen. Like when I paused, that's what, like, just this tsunami of just like these waves just coming out of me. Like, oh, just like I noticed all of that. Like, oh, this is what's happening. Okay. I could just pause and just be with myself, even though it's like, I mean, it was just emotionally, I was almost like breaking out. But I could see that in that moment, this is what's happening, and I could allow this to happen. I mean, it felt overwhelming. I mean, and at that moment, I felt completely hopeless. I felt like that hopelessness is still there, but I'm just noticing what's springing out from that hopelessness. These thoughts about
hopelessness, right. The hopelessness, it is hopeless.
Yeah.
It's hopeless that this desire to protect yourself is hopeless. You can't protect yourself. But what is it you're wanting to protect yourself from? And you can take a look and see. Well, the only thing you want to protect yourself from is from.
What would you say again? The hopelessness is what?
It is hopeless. The desire to protect yourself is totally hopeless. You're not ever win in that.
Yeah.
See what it is that you're really wanting to protect yourself from. You're wanting to protect yourself from feeling.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that feeling is, you trust the feeling all the way, not your thoughts about the feeling. The thoughts about the feeling are lies. The feeling itself is revealing to you what is true. That you cannot possibly protect yourself from this feeling, because this feeling is you. This feeling is your life. This feeling is your own love for yourself. And it is heartbreaking when it's revealed to you that you have betrayed yourself by believing that you were worthless.
You were what?
It is heartbreaking when you realize that you have betrayed yourself by believing that you are worthless.
Oh, that's quite a lot in there. Okay. Didn't process it, but can you simplify that for me, if you can?
Yeah, I'm just sending a message to the person I'm supposed to meet with so that they know.
Okay.
So you have this heartbreak is revealing something to you. It is revealing to you that you have believed that you are worthless.
Yeah.
And that's heartbreaking.
Mm-hmm.
So then what is the remedy?
To not escape it.
To not escape your own self-love.
Which is already receiving that unworthiness.
Well, just check it out. Just see.
I could see that. Like, I could see that. Like, without that, I would probably be dead now. I would have committed suicide long ago. Since that I've seen it happening, that's why I'm here. And I mean, even though it's pretty intense, I see that unworthiness is welcomed here. It's not what I think it is. It is welcome here. I mean, even though my environment doesn't accept that, even though people don't see that, like people around me say otherwise, or I say to myself otherwise, when I pause, when I look at it, I know it's not what I thought it was.
Yeah.
It's just unworthiness, and it's welcome here.
Yeah, and that it's also yes and no. So yes, but it's also not just unworthiness. Because what I'm saying is that what appears to be unworthiness is revealing to you self-love. Because why would you care unless you knew that it was a lie? It's painful because you know it's a lie. Unworthiness is a distortion of what is true.
I didn't get this part.
You cannot get rid of it because its essence is true, but its essence is not what you think it is. You think it's unworthiness.
Mm-hmm.
So when you think it's unworthiness, at first you try to get rid of it, and you realize now, okay, that's not going to work. So then you realize, okay, there's space for it here. But that's closer. That's much closer. And what I'm saying is that the invitation is even one step further, which is to recognize, what is this really? Because what's so painful about it is not the experience. It's not what you're calling unworthiness is it is not painful. What you're calling unworthiness is not painful. What's painful is the distortion of it, because it is not actually unworthiness. It is actually self-love.
What do you mean distortion of it?
Well, so the reason you care is because you love. You actually know your own worthiness, your own value. You know that. That's why it's painful when you believe it to be unworthiness. And that's why I say the right people, because the right people, so when you know and trust in your own self-worth, then you are just yourself. You don't need to be anything else other than that. And then that's why I say there's however many people are close by, that's more than enough people, because there's multiple people nearby who are just waiting for you. Not for the version of you that would be the worthy version of you, trying to overcome unworthiness. Just you, exactly as you are, with all of the qualities of you, the very qualities that you judge as unworthy. It's just, I mean, even there's just no way that that's not true. It is unquestionably true.
So, more close to that space thing is self-love, space to unworthiness.
Well, just check it out. Isn't it, just see, just check it out today and let me know. Just to see in your own experience that if you don't, if you take the label off of what you've been calling unworthiness and just fully step into it, be with it completely, not trying to get rid of it, not trying to get past it, not trying to get through it. Just be completely with it without any protection. And don't grab at any thoughts. Don't touch any thoughts about it. And just be with it innocently. And see, what is it really? Just find out. Because the fear is, oh, it's so horrible that I couldn't bear it and it would kill me. And so therefore I might as well kill myself. But when but I'm saying, if that's what life is, if life is that there's this thing that's always on your heels, ready to devour you, then maybe if that's actually true, then that sounds horrible. That's not a very good life. So then, you know, when you're at that point, then you have the courage. You have the courage. I know this to be true. Then you use that courage and just step right into it. Don't battle with it. Don't run from it. Don't fight it. Don't try to destroy it. Don't try to do anything at all. Just step into it and just be with it completely and find out, because I believe you will find out exactly what I've been talking about during this meeting, which is this already is what you actually want, what you actually long for. But you can't just take my word for it. You have to actually be willing to take the labels off, to stop battling with it, to stop calling it unworthiness, and to really just be with it 100% completely. And it will, you know, it might be uncomfortable, might not be. It might be instantaneously wonderful. That's possible. It also might be uncomfortable for a little while. So if it is uncomfortable, then just know that it's not bad. Just because it's uncomfortable, that it just indicates that it's new. So check it out and let me know, and send me a message. And if I can get together, if we can meet before Friday, we'll meet before Friday. And otherwise, we'll meet on Friday.
Yeah. Does this apply to like friendships too? Because I have like I've tried and I feel like, oh fuck it, I don't care anymore. Like it's like,
yeah, check it out.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Let me know. Let me know today. Let me know today. Let me know tomorrow. I'm here. I have a appointment scheduled.
All right. Yeah.
But I'm around, so let me know.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, everybody. See you next time. Take care of yourself. You're worth it, really. Bye for now.